Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope it all well. Political waffle. I think I've mentioned the channel before. Only 4,490 subscribers. Should have a lot more, to be honest. He needs a lot more subscribers. Clever fella and spreading the word, and yeah, just needs a lot more subscribers, to be honest, to spread the word. So, um, go and watch the channel, subscribe, share the video. That's a thing as well, I suppose. Um, Yeah, he needs more subscribers because he's bang on here. How UK universities are churning out activists and damaging our brightest young minds in the process. Yeah, absolutely. And we see a lot of the left wingers, like youngsters and that. And again, it's like a lot of people who've been to university. It seems to be the crack, doesn't it? So this is being taught in the universities, and parents are unaware, I think. And yeah, you're losing your children to this bullshit and the left wing because they're being brainwashed. They're being brainwashed into it, and they're not clever enough to see that. So I'll play a bit of this. Real good video.
I'm very annoyed at the people running universities in Great Britain. The reason why I'm annoyed about it is because they've facilitated and allowed, and in many cases with the lecturers and professors in these places, they've encouraged this behaviour which has been bordering on mental illness. Now, I've got two clips for you today. One, which is a very, very distressing clip on one level. It's very easy to watch. You're going to watch a young lady here being arrested by police. But if you just take a moment to listen to what this young lady is saying, look at her demeanour, and you tell me, is this a mental illness?
So we've all seen this clip before. I mean, I've laughed at the last before, crying her eyes out here on the step, going on about Palestine, a spot she's never been, probably will never go. Has no real knowledge of what's going on there. Yet crying her fucking eyes out here, and I think she's being arrested for pro-Palestine. We've all probably seen the footage. I've definitely seen it and played it before. So yeah, the guy's kind of right, to be honest. Of like honestly, this video, I'll shut up and let this guy do the talking.
Our government is arming a genocide. It is UK-made weapons that are being used to destroy homes, to destroy hospitals, to destroy schools. And now our government is not only arming a genocide, they are using terrorism laws to silence people who speak out.
Maybe I'm going mad.
We do not comply, God!
Now, I don't know about you, but if that was my daughter there, I would be extremely concerned. And, certainly for the first time in my life, I would have to start looking in my local area for mental health professionals, because the amount of emotion on display there was off the charts. And of course, what's passed over in all of this is the future lives that have been lost as a result of this disease, this infection that's infecting people. That young lady appeared to be intelligent. She's intelligent enough to verbalise what she's talking about. She's certainly intelligent enough to imagine the things that are happening as if they are real. And just a read of her general demeanour and, the whole look of that, I would say that looked like an intelligent person. I could be wrong, of course, but I'm just throwing that out there. She was as well. It looked to be a university student of some sort. And so, given that she's been infected with this, the question is she focusing on her future? Of what she needs to do in her life? Is she working towards a goal? Is she thinking about what's best for her life and what she's wanting to do with her life and everything else? And the answer to that is no. She's crying about a conflict that's been going on for well over a millennia. And this is extremely worrying, mainly because I hate to see young people's lives destroyed. And that's what is happening here. When university campuses, your professors and lecturers allow this, and everyone else in the teaching profession, the teachers don't get away with this either in secondary. Even in primary school, we're hearing it all the time. This woke infection, talking about sexuality and non-binary and, the weirdness that goes on, and reading odd literature, and then polluting their minds with this Gaza genocide rubbish. Then all of this leads to a very, very fractured young person with very little future ahead of them apart from mental illness and walking around and being an activist for the rest of their life. That's what these universities are creating, and I think they should be ashamed of themselves. And as you know, I'm a Geordie, I'm from Newcastle, and there has been times when I've wandered past Newcastle University on the way to a concert. This was last year, I was walking along with my wife. She wanted to go and see a band that was on at Newcastle University, so we bought the tickets and we went along. It was a lovely night out, and we hugely enjoyed the young man that was on there. When I was walking past, I saw an encampment. And as I walked through, there were people sitting around, some of whom were very upset, some of whom were waiting to talk about their upset with other people. And there were some horrific things on display, really horrific, like pictures of small children that had been exploded, etc. It was just a ghastly visage of death and destruction, meant obviously to jump right into your central cortex there and cause outrage, no doubt. And these little things that they had on display were well thought out in that respect. But here's a clip from Newcastle University, this Gazan who's brought her infection over from Palestine directly into the university. And what she's going to do is she's going to ask all of the students in the United Kingdom to rise up.
I am Hala, a Palestinian from Gaza. I can't believe that this is the 7th month and I'm still talking about the atrocious crimes the Israeli occupation is committing against the Palestinians in Gaza and the unfolding genocide, killing more than 40,000 Palestinians in the last 7 months, killing more than 15,000 children, and the world is still allowing this to happen. Let me show you what's happening now in Newcastle University. It's encampment. The sittings are starting. It's unfolding now. People are coming and they are calling for the end of the Israeli genocide over Gaza. Unbelievable amount of crimes are still happening until now in Gaza, until the moment we're talking to. We don't know when this will be ending. However, one thing I know is that students all over the world are now moving and they're not allowing it again. They will not allow this generation to hold what the other generations have accepted, a colonial world coming from the West to colonize our countries and make these crimes against our people. Join us now in Newcastle University to support our demands for ceasefire now, end of the genocide over Gaza, end of the Israeli occupation over Palestine, and end of the complicity of the Newcastle University with the Israeli occupation on Palestine. We're in front of NUSO at the Newcastle University, just camping here. Bring your tents and come here to stay the night and do the encampments with us. Students of Newcastle University are calling upon all students of the United Kingdom to raise up and call for end of the occupation, end of Israeli genocide over Gaza, and immediate and permanent ceasefire right now. Open your own encampments and join us for the end of this genocide. We're all together until a free Palestine. Ceasefire now.
So, in essence, what you've got there is a professional agitator whose main concern in life is to raise awareness about an issue in Palestine. And of course, if this whole war was to end tomorrow and everything were to go back, then Palestine would still be occupied in inverted commas. And so this is a forever activist. This is an activist that will be a professional activist. She'll go on and on and on forever and a day talking about the same issues and marching periodically through all the towns and cities in this country. And going back to the first young lady that we saw, you see where this has been propagated. The young people of our university universities, they're being sent there, in effect, to be radicalised by Palestinian people like the lady in the headscarf that you've just witnessed there. And this is insufferable to me. As a parent, the question that remains is this: should you, in all good conscience, send any of your children to a university where their minds are going to be twisted and bent so far out of shape? Listening to any of your children scream like that and go on like that, displaying that type of mental illness, must be hugely depressing to any parent. And the question that I would ask you, if you do have any children, you are considering allowing them or helping them even go on to university, the question that I would ask is, can you in all good conscience do that? Can you send your child to a place where they may come back not only riddled with this Palestinian disease, as I would call it, but also riddled with all the rest of the rubbish there, all of the non-binary, woke stuff? Do you really take that chance with your children? Not only because of the disease that's affecting these people, but because more and more in our society, what we're witnessing is, it doesn't matter what university education you get, it's not going to improve your job prospects. So given that your job prospects are not going to be improved by sending your child to university, and given that it's not exactly what middle-class people of the 20th century used to call, which is a rite of passage in some way, where you'd send your child away to experience freedom for the first time, to experience living on their own with a group of like-minded peers, to read good literature, to become educated, to make arguments, to do cool things, meet cool people that can be lifelong friends, and set yourself up on a springboard for a future successful career. None of that's real. Do not send your children to university. There's no point. Just my view. Thanks very much for your time.
Not a problem, sir. Not a problem. I just thought I'd let him speak, to be honest, because it was real good, as I said, and he's right. To be honest, he's absolutely right. There's no point going to university to think you're going to come out better educated and get a better job. You're just going to be brainwashed and radicalized into being an activist and a left-winger, to be honest. It's kind of what we've seen it, you know what I mean? We see it at all the protests, and how the number of these left-wingers and the woke and the non-binary and the trans, how it's all massively increased over the last couple of years. And that's got nothing to do with these people wanting to be trans or non-binary. With the majority of them, it's too many. You know what I mean? It's clearly being taught to them. They've clearly been brainwashed, and that's why the number is increasing tenfold, because it started to get taught in the schools and the universities, and they started teaching them this stuff when they were young. And that's Hitler knew that. Get them when they're young. Hitler Youth. Everybody, it's known for a long time. If you want to brainwash somebody, do it when they're young. It's miles fucking easier, you know what I mean? So this is what's happening in the schools, in the fucking universities, in the colleges. It's all being taught from the top down, and through days and days and weeks and months and years of it. It eventually takes root in the people, and then these people become who they are. And again, it's people whose parents might be slightly distant or don't have good friends who aren't at uni. Do you know what I mean? If you are disconnected and you're just caught in this university bubble with all these other people, it could very much change who you are. But some people will remain normal because they have a good family that they're close to and have friends that they're close to, and can maybe keep them grounded and get them to see through the bullshit. But anybody who's lost in the university bubble, they'll totally fall for it all, as we've seen, and this is why the numbers increase dramatically. It's nothing to do with these people wanting to be individuals, non-binary or trans or anything at all. They've all been brainwashed and taught it from a very early age. And the brainwashings took hold because they got them early, got them young, Hitler Youth, been done before, nothing new under the sun. So, a very good video there, I thought, by Political Waffle. He needs more subscribers, to be honest. He needs more subscribers. So, I thought I'd give him a mention and a brilliant video. And he's right. This is absolutely right. And you can see it. You can absolutely see it. I'll leave it there. Peace.